Hi and welcome to WEH Videos. My name is Skip, and this is a video I wasn't really planning to do this early. I wanted to get a little more time in Xplan 12, but I thought I might show you some things that I learned as soon as I got it. First off, this is not an official release. This is what they're calling early access, not even beta. So there's probably going to be some bugs in here, and that's to be expected at this point. So this is their new look for Xplan 12, and that's about all there is for new looks in their interface options. For instance, if we go to Settings, you will see that it's very similar to Xplan 11, and selecting a new flight is pretty much the same, along with changing the weather and the time of day. Now, I'm not going to go over the new aircraft or any of the features like that at this point, but what I do want to show you is some things I was concerned about when I got this. For instance, can I use my old airplanes for Xplan 11? And what about some of the plugins I have for Xplan 11? Will they work with Xplan 12? And from what I've seen so far, the answer is yes. A lot of my airplanes from Xplan 11 will work, and most of the plugins that I have will work. But with the plugins, some of them I don't need anymore. For instance, I had a weather plugin, and I think probably one of the biggest improvements for Xplan 12 from 11 is a major improvement in their weather. And getting these airplanes into Xplan 12 was pretty simple. I simply went to my Xplan 11 folder. I have Xplan 11 and 12 on a separate SSD drive. So I have Xplan 11 here and Xplan 12. I simply went to Aircraft, and I selected the folder of airplanes I want, which is Skip Modified, and I copied those over here to Xplan 12. And when I ran Xplan, I tested most of these, and they seemed to be working just fine. And I did the same with the plugins. I go to Resources, Plugins, and I simply copied the plugin folder over here to Xplan 12, Resources, Plugins, and all the plugins are there. And most of them seem to be working. To this point, I've only had one airplane that wouldn't work in Xplan 12, and I think 2 plugins. And I really don't need these anymore, I don't believe, just because of the improvements with Xplan 12. We'll have to see how that goes later on. And one more thing that I was really concerned about was my logbook, right? We all want to keep track of our logbook, and I have thousands of hours in Xplan 11, and I didn't want to lose those. And I was happy to know that I could go to Outputs and Logbook and copy my logbook file, which is skip.txt, and I was able to come over to Xplan 12, to Outputs, and to Logbook and copy it there. And guess what? Everything showed up when I opened the logbook in Xplan 12. All right, now we're going to do a little comparison with Xplan 11 and Xplan 12, and I'm going to open up my favorite little Cessna 172N 84 Delta Lima. This is the one I use in almost all of my videos, and we're going to start a new flight, and I'm going to pause this, and we'll pick it up once we're loaded up. Actually, while we're waiting, take a look at this reflection here on the water. This is one of their cool features with their new weather, that you have puddles of water now after a rain, and you actually get a reflection. It's pretty cool. I'll show you how that works once we get open. All right, here we are at Benton Field in Redding, California, in my favorite little Cessna 84 Delta Lima. I'm sure you've all seen this before. I just want you to take a look at this view and keep this in mind looking out the windshield here in my little Cessna. And we're going to compare this with Xplane 11. Notice where the eyes are in relationship to the dash here and the instruments. It's going to be a little different in Xplane 11. Now let's just take a jump outside and take a look around at the airport. This is the default Xplane 12 airport. This is all the stuff that came with Xplane, and let's take a look at the scenery here. Let's back out a little bit. So we got the roads and the buildings here. This is all looking really nice. And notice the trees. A lot more trees now in Xplane 12. They really look pretty nice. All right, here we are in the very same 172N in Xplane 11 this time. Now all I did was copy these files from Xplane 11 to Xplane 12. This is how it was rendered in Xplane 11, and you saw what it looked like in Xplane 12. All right, let's take a step outside and take a look around in Xplane 11. Now keep in mind, I have downloaded a lot of custom scenery in Ortho for Xplane. So this is photoreal scenery that I was able to download from the internet here. That's a long process of installing this stuff into Xplane into the custom scenery folder. And that's what you're looking at now. So this is not Xplane 11 scenery. This is custom scenery. So let's take a look at this. And here you can see the roads and the buildings. Not quite as exciting. Believe me though, this is a lot better than what comes with Xplane 11. And notice the trees. Very sparse in the trees, and they tend to turn flat on you. They're basically just flat surfaces, so when you fly around, notice here it becomes like a little skinny little rail here because it's only two-sided. So that's some of the issues with Xplane 11 and their scenery. The other thing is, this is an airport that I downloaded from the forum. This did not come with Xplane 11. It was just an empty field with a runway. And so I had to install this airport using Xplane's World Editor. So let's get back to Xplane 12. And here we are back in Xplane 12. So getting back into the cockpit, I believe this is a much more realistic view in the real 172 where I can't see all the instruments. I have to tilt my head down in the real airplane to see everything. Normally you're looking out and you barely see the instruments when you're looking out straight ahead. So this is, I believe, a little more realistic. I actually prefer the other view so I don't have to scroll down to see my instruments. But then again, more realistic. All right, I went in and I changed the weather and stepped outside here. I want to show you those reflections that they came up with. So if you look in here, you can see the reflection of the airplane in the puddle of the water here. This is really very realistic. Take a look at some of these places here where the puddles are. This is something they're really quite proud of, I do believe, and it's cool. It certainly adds more realism. And let's face it, the more realistic simulating gets, the more immersed we can get in the flying experience. And that makes it just all the more fun. And speaking of fun, well, I am just going to take off here and enjoy this weather. If I can go straight. So, wow, look at those clouds. So that's it. That's about all I can tell you so far on this. I will probably do some more videos on Xplane 12 as I get more and more time in it. Let's just take a look around. Oh, pretty nice. So again, that's it. If you like this, please click the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I answer all of my comments. So thank you again for watching, and God bless.